That's what you call CTE and asthma? A tasteless joke?
Yeah, that's terrible. You can't say that.
Giants. And I don't care. And we have Giants fans on this network, so I'm going to get bombarded again when I make this comment. The Giants should cut Cam Skattebo. Welcome to episode 310 of Empty the Bench here on the Empty the Bench Network. He's Zain Bando. I'm Nick Morgasen. Follow the show on social media at ETB Sports, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at ETB Sports. Follow the Empty the Bench Network at ETB Network, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at ETB Network. Make sure to like and subscribe. YouTube.com/ETB Network on our video side as we continue to grow and get past 1,100 subscribers and closer to 2,200 watch hours. So please come by, watch. Smash that notification bell so you know when we are live or when our recorded shows are ready to go. And if you can't watch our podcast or other recorded podcasts, listen to Empty the Bench wherever you get your podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all other audio podcasting platforms. Okay, so this is going to be the ranting show this week. There's going to be a lot that goes on. There was a lot of interesting developments that have gone down in March Madness. Cam Skattebo is a moron. I'm just going to come out and say that right now. Some other news developing in the NFL, which we'll get to a large contract that was just signed. Logan Paul apologizing to Tom Brady. I don't know if it's really an apology, but let's just say it was a Logan Paul style apology, if that's how
Yeah,
you want to put it. John Jones thinks that he's the smartest guy in the world, but he really is not.
yeah.
And then a little bit of stuff at the end. We're also going to get into an Instagram video that went insanely viral for the wrong reasons due to chance at an
Yeah,
Illinois Penn game.
yeah, yep.
So we got a lot to get into. So let's get moving. So NCAA March Madness Sweet 16 preview. Before we fully get into the preview, this has been a very unique tournament this year.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if you want to start anywhere, six Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16, first time since 1980 that a remote number has been reached like that. So that's been unbelievable. You've had buzzer beaters galore. You've had one seeds go down. You've had these unsung hero type stories too. I mean, it's been a very some people have said it's chalk heavy, and it's true. A lot of the favorites have won, but there have been some exhilarating finishes to some of these games and some heroic stories. I mean, shoot, we'll get to it later on in the preview, but the lowest seed left is a number 11 seed, and this isn't just any number 11 seed. This was a play-in team that had to win a game just to even get into the NCAA tournament. And so you want to talk about unpredictability in this tournament so far, going into the Sweet 16 and then eventual Elite Eight. On Saturday and Sunday. It's really interesting, and it's really cool. And I'm very almost grateful to the NCAA that it's starting, and it does, because it perfectly aligns with when you guys are currently watching and listening to this. You guys will get a preview of every single game in this portion of the bracket. So I think it's really great, and there's a lot of intriguing games and some very, very, very just kind of old school blue collar, blue blood brand in here. Like it feels like the tournament is really starting to fully ramp up, and there's some major teams remaining. So I'm excited to talk about all of it with you. And I think some of these potential regional final games, regardless of how they pan out, and regardless of if our predictions are right or wrong, all of it is really intriguing in its own way. And I think it'll be a really, really good sprint to the finish line in Indianapolis, if you will, as that portion is vastly approaching in under 11 days from the time you guys are seeing this. So,
I mean, let's talk about some of these because, again, like I went through our mentions and people are being assholes in our comments because, like, people were reacting to the fact that I mentioned last week that the NCAA is a corrupt organization because they don't want small schools advancing in the tournament. Well, look at what High Point did in this tournament. Okay. Look at what Texas has done in this tournament. Okay. Like to say, and I love this because the NCAA says, oh, well, we're all for the Cinderella story. We're all for Are you for the Cinderella story or are you not? Because they want all the big schools. The NCAA is never going to admit it to you, but they want the big schools. If they could have 4 number ones, which can't happen anymore because Florida got eliminated by Iowa, but I think that people are overreacting to the comment that we made in the video. I think.
Well, as much as I do agree with you to an extent, would you also agree at the same time though that some of these schools that don't make it as far, like Nebraska and like Iowa, could they be quantified as Cinderella stories, even if their seed doesn't show it? Because technically, both of those teams that I just said probably shouldn't be in the position they are, given that Nebraska had never won an NCAA tournament game going into this, and that Iowa knocked with the number one seed. So I would say the Cinderella story argument, whether the NCAA loves the Cinderella story or not, I think is still very alive and well with the 16 teams that you still love. Would you not say so to an extent?
No, I do. And remember when I told you in my bracket, I had Nebraska all the way through to I think the Sweet 16. Yeah, I
Okay.
did. And you looked at me originally. He's like, "Oh, they've never won a game." And I said, "Well, they're a much better team than people give them credit for."
No, and
I
they clearly showed that against Vanderbilt to be able to gut that out in the finals seconds and nearly have a half court shot go in on the other end that would have lost them the game was unbelievable.
That was an incredible game. There's been quite a few incredible finishes in the round of 32.
Oh yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
the
you, I
I think
mean,
the
we had two buzzer beaters Sunday alone: St. John's in Kansas and Iowa in Florida. They were both unbelievable games.
I mean, first of all, the St. John's layup with the opposite hand with the
It was
lefty shooter.
awesome,
Th
awesome.
that was incredible, the way that game ended. I think St. John's has a chance to beat Duke. I have them beating Duke in my bracket, and
Nick, considering how they played Sunday, I think you're probably going to be right.
Duke has injuries. I think 2 of their starters are injured right now, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say Duke is what, like 85% healthy,
I
probably?
would say so too. And Nick, you want to talk about the regional? You want to talk about the regional that is getting the most buzz tickets wise? It's that one cheapest ticket that I last saw for the East region, which Duke and UConn and Michigan State and St. John's are all in $1,100 in DC.
At minimum?
Yeah,
I mean, I think any ticket that's that price is ridiculous. But
but considering the heavyweights you have in there, it's not really a surprise, right?
that you're talking
Because
about scalping price,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm not talking about legitimate face value. You could probably go non-scalp for like probably minimum 300, $400, but it's
I mean,
still
that's
very
not terrible, but
yeah, it's still very expensive though.
just looking around at the bracket and just seeing like, you know what, this is the first time in a while that it took until like the round of 32 or like to see a legitimate upsets go down.
Well, right.
Um,
Um, I would argue, besides High Point beating Wisconsin, would you agree of the teams that are still left, that the two biggest, of course, were Iowa, Florida, and of course the other one being Texas knocking out Gonzaga, right?
well, Gonzaga was a complete disappointment in my eyes, completely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, because everyone had Gonzaga, what, going Sweet 16 at least? I
Yeah,
mean,
because that's typically the bare minimum of what they do. Nick, they hadn't been out of the second round in like almost a decade, or maybe even a little bit more than that.
I'm just looking around at the rest of the bracket, like Tennessee beating Virginia. I wouldn't classify that as like a full upset because that's a
I would,
3-6.
I wouldn't either. And Rick Barnes is a very, very, very good coach. So I would not put it past that was a surprise. I actually had that wrong. I thought Virginia was going to beat Tennessee, so
I did too.
I
Yeah.
was fully mistaken there. But yeah, and then of course the team that are playing, which we'll get to in a minute, Iowa State is just a physical, just beast. You don't know where they're going to go. Their guard play is really good. TJ Utzelberger, if I'm pronouncing his last name
Yeah.
correctly, it's a very difficult last name to pronounce. He's like a quiet coach. He doesn't say very much, but for whatever reason, they always come around and sneak up on you. And I'm going to tell you what, the Iowa State fans are going to travel well here. Chicago is going to be a madhouse, especially with Michigan playing close to home too. Even though I'm a little bit disappointed that like Illinois, Iowa, and Nebraska aren't playing here, to have Michigan and Iowa State here, I think is going to be pretty cool. And yeah, I'll obviously get more into it. Or did get more into it with Will. Um, uh, um, Earlier in the week, but still, it's going to be a very interesting subset of games, and I think the Sweet 16 is going to be fun. We're going to have every single game to talk about, which is really really cool as we go around the country. There's some interesting sites this year. We've got Houston, Texas. We've got San Jose. We've got Washington D.C. and we have Chicago. So it should be very interesting.
I mean, the other bracket. I mean, or not other bracket, but other part of the bracket I would look at is the East because, like I said, St. John's incredible comeback to win on a buzzer beater layup. And then I think they're going to be Duke. And then
Do you think Michigan State has a chance or
no,
no?
no. I think UConn is going might possibly dominate Michigan State. I
Okay.
think,
Okay.
but I think for symmetrical purposes, St. John's playing UConn. St. John's has already beat UConn twice this year.
But it's hard to beat a team three times.
I
It's very
understand
hard.
though, but St. John's has the UConn number
Oh yeah,
this
I
year.
know. I know.
So if we get to St. John's UConn, how can you can't count St. John's out of that
No,
game.
that's gonna be a ratings bonanza. That's gonna be that's gonna be awesome.
Some people are saying that might be a bloodbath game, like
Yeah,
coming
it
up.
was it was Dan Hurley's words.
Uh,
He wants that.
Dan Hurley doesn't stand down to anybody
No,
whatsoever. His
no.
press conferences, by the way, have been incredible so far during this tournament.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
and then just looking on the other side in the West, um, Arizona, I think will beat Arkansas. I'm not worried about that. Um,
Interesting. See, that's where we differ. I got the Hogs.
I I think Arizona is like they said the most dominant team in the country this
hmm
year.
I mean, the way
Um,
they blew out Utah State was very impressive. So
that's for sure. And then what else do we have? Texas, Purdue. I think Purdue's going to wipe the floor. Texas. I think Texas's run is going to end.
I think so. I think so too. I think so too.
So I think it's going to be a 1-2. Actually, I think it's going to be a 1 versus 2 on, or actually, excuse me, 2 versus 5 and 1 versus 2 on the east and west side. And then on the
Okay.
bottom,
Do you want to go through the individual games now?
yeah. So
Okay.
let's go to the first one. Obviously, your game, your team in the bracket, number 2 Houston versus number 3 Illinois. You and I actually both were in agreement on this game,
Mhm.
making it all the way through.
Yeah,
Uh,
we were. We were exactly right. We've got Kingston Flemings taking on Keaton Wagler, the battle of the two freshman studs. I honestly think the first to 30 points for either guy might win either team this game. I think it's going to be really interesting.
this game is interesting. Houston is a juggernaut. Like just like over the last 3 or 4 years,
They
th-
really are. They could have won the national championship last year and they lost to Florida. So,
that was a tough loss after all the amazing stuff they did in the tournament last year.
mhm.
Florida's just too dominant of a team. Now, with them getting upset, I think this might be another chance for Houston to make the final again.
I think so too. And now you don't have to worry about Florida, but you'll still have to potentially worry about UConn or Duke, though. That's the big hurdle. So
I think UConn is scarier, to be quite honest.
I
I,
think so. I think so too. I mean, I'm sure you'd agree with me to an extent, but I feel like the only way Illinois can win this game with how good Houston's defense is by getting into a track meet. And unfortunately, I think Illinois is going to get heartbroken. That's what I think. I would love to be wrong. I would love to see Illinois advance to the Elite Eight because that means that they'd be one game closer to me watching them in person in the Final Four. But I don't think it'll. I don't think it'll happen.
I don't know if they have enough offense to compete with Houston, though. That's part of the problem.
Even
Like,
though even though they're ranked the number one offense in the country.
I just think Houston defensively is going to dominate the offense. Defense always in my opinion, surpasses offense when it comes to this tournament.
I'm just curious. What do you think of David Murkovic having 29 points and 17 rebounds? In
Oh,
the
incredible game. Incredible
mhm,
game. Not even a
mhm,
question. When
mhm,
you see
mhm.
someone with because people are like, "Oh, 2010, blah 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 blah." No, in the tournament, 20 and 10 is hard to do. Okay?
Mhm.
Like cuz you have to remember, like, even though we look to see who dominates and you get the star performances, like I go all the way back to when Steph Curry dominated with Davidson and
Did
when they were
you did you watch those teams at all that he
yeah,
was on?
yeah.
Yeah,
And he was a dominant player on a no-name squad, and
right,
he goes off in the tournament, and that's how Steph Curry becomes Steph Curry. Like, there's so many. John Wall was another one that dominated. I can think of so many that well, John Wall never got anywhere
right,
eventually in the NBA, but remember, Davidson was on no one's radar in that tournament whatsoever. And
right.
then Steph Curry goes off on an epic performance in March Madness and becomes the big name. You don't really see that anymore in the tournament where you see like dominant stars in March Madness take over. Just
No, not no, not really. You're right.
and it's more it I think the tournament is much better now than it was years ago because it's more focused on being team dominant and not individual dominant.
I agree, Nick, pretty much 100%. But where I may counter you though is, wouldn't you agree though that watching the likes of Wichita State in 2013, where they had that one guard that carried them all the way through to the Elite Eight, and there was that other year that Loyola made the deep run that they did, and they had a few really good players, and then there was that other year or two where Florida Gulf Coast had a run a little bit.
Or UMBC. I mean, there's so
Yeah,
many. Fairleigh
yeah,
Dickinson. You could name
mhm,
so many of them.
mhm.
Trust me. And I agree with the standpoint you're making that there has to be one guy that leads every
Yes,
team.
yes.
But you still have to play as a team to make those
No,
dominant runs.
100%, which is why I think it's unfair to single-handedly say that Flemings is the best player on Houston and that Wagner is the best player on Illinois, because they are all equally as talented.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because
They, those two guys may be the stars of those teams when you first think of them,
well,
but
what's that dumb say? One guy doesn't make a team make or
one,
whatever that
one,
dumb
one-
saying is.
yes, which is 100% true.
Y
Yeah,
it's a team sport. The way March Madness is to be a dominant team, you have to play all together. If all the pieces are not operating together as one, then you're not gonna make it as far as you do. And that's why you see Cinderellas make it in the tournament. UMBC was supposed to be a nobody,
right.
okay?
Then they upset Virginia. Then the next year, Virginia came back, turned the tables and won the national championship. They used that loss as motivation to go and kick the can down the road and kick it even further the next year and go and win the whole thing.
Florida Gulf Coast was supposed to be a trounce, okay?
Right.
And how far did they end up going?
I think it was to the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight. I
Who
think they were. I think they were Elite Eight though.
yeah, who was the one that made the Final Four the one year as the no-name seed?
The one year is the no. I think it was Loyola. No,
It might have been Loyola, but but again, who thought Loyola was going to do what they were going to do? It's because they played as a team because they didn't have one dominant star
they
leading the way.
didn't. They did, and this is unfortunate because I love him and he's my guy. But when Illinois was only carried by Io DeSumo and Illinois lost to Loyola, I wasn't really all that surprised because they relied on him so much that Illinois ran out of gas. But that's why that's why they lost. And yeah, it was a 1 versus 8 seed, and it was the biggest upset of the whole tournament. But to those, trust me, Nick, to those who really know ball, they knew that it wasn't a lot of a surprise, because you can't have one guy carry a whole team.
Right. So, long story short, just so we can keep moving,
I
I
like Houston. I like
yeah.
Houston by 10. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds about right. They'll win somewhere in like the 10-ish range somewhere.
Hey, just a fair warning: if Illinois wins, I will be insufferable for the next 4 days.
Oh, trust.
So,
Oh no, I know. Trust me, I know.
so
But yeah, I think it'll be close for like 3 quarters, and then
Why
I
don't you
think
do it would be two halves, Nick.
I'm sorry. I think it'll be close for like the first half, and then like the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second
Okay.
half, and then I think the gas will start to kind of go on empty a little bit
Okay.
about 5 or 6 minutes into the second half,
Okay.
and
I could see a scenario where Wagner gets taken out because he's too tired too, which would be super disappointing.
well,
So,
that's the other thing. Who was the team that was on an upset run, but they only played their starters for the entire game?
oh, upset run, but they played their starters for the whole game. That would have been, oh geez, was that that wasn't Arkansas, was it?
No, because Arkansas is still in. Um, it was a team that won the first round, but then like they ran out of gas because they only played their 5 starters and no one from the bench.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay,
I can't
okay,
remember which team it was off the top of my head, but that's why they lost. Like, that's another thing. You have to play your whole team if you want to win this tournament.
right.
Also, you can't rely on starters. That's the problem. Like, but all right, let's move on. Uh South region, number 4 Nebraska, who we started to talk about, versus number 9 Iowa. Uh Iowa with the upset of the tournament, right?
Yeah, Iowa with the upset of the tournament, and the guy who won it. I don't want to butcher his name, but the guy who won it, in the final seconds, his mom hadn't seen him play in 2 years, and he won the game.
Wait, is that real?
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He got really emotional about it after the game. Yeah, I'm
Was
blanking on. It's like Alacaris, I think, is his last name or something.
that wasn't the 3-point shot, was it? Or
No, that was the winning. That was the winning. That was the winning lane because they won the game by 1 point.
oh, are you talking about Alvaro Falagiris?
Yes,
Yeah,
his
he nailed the
mom.
3-pointer. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was right. Okay.
to win the game. Yeah, yeah.
That was an
Well,
incredible game. Incredible game.
mm-hmm.
I sat on the edge of my seat because my TV is right next to me right here,
Yeah,
and I was first of all, incredible poise to remember to keep his feet behind the line. Also, to make
right.
sure that he set himself before he
Yeah,
caught the pass. How
yeah.
many? That's an experienced NBA move
Yeah,
right there.
it really was. And I love my dad, but I love giving him crap too. He looks over at me and he goes, "Sam, they should just go for the two and play for overtime." I'm like, "Dad, it's
No,
March Madness. They gotta go win the game."
it's go big or go home, baby.
They
Yeah.
won it. Yeah,
I mean, but
yeah.
like I said, first of all, that's a very like experienced move, making sure you're behind the line, making sure you're set. Because what do you have to lose there? Set your feet. You have plenty of time,
And also if you set your feet and get touched, you get fouled anyway, so who cares, right?
right? So I incredible NBA experience move right there.
That was
Uh,
awesome.
to
That was
win
really
that.
awesome.
Um, I think Iowa has a chance in this game. I
I
really
do,
do.
I do too, because I think Nebraska nearly ran out of gas against Vanderbilt, and he survived that. Iowa was really resilient, and these two teams have played twice before already this year, and the games have been pretty good. And I don't know, man. I think Ben McCollum knows what he's doing. I mean, he's got his guy Bennett Sturts. Shout out Drake University. That's where he transferred from, and he's been playing like a stud this whole tournament. And if they don't have their guards let's see. I think it would be Gel and Rink Mask for Nebraska. If they don't have their guards ready to go, they're gonna be suffocating in ways that they haven't seen in this tournament, and it's gonna be really interesting. But I just think it's really cool, though. On another note, that two Big Ten teams that have already known each other and played each other twice during the regular season, one at each venue, one at Carver Hawkeye and one at Pinnacle Bank. It's going to make that game a lot more interesting, and I just think it's cool that at least one Big Ten team perhaps could go to the Final Four, and it could somehow, some way be one of these two teams, and I think it'll be a very good game. I just know that it's either going to end one of two ways. I was going to get screwed by the refs, or Fred Hoiberg is going to get into it with the referee, and it's going to change the whole complexion to the game.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time Hoiberg has done that.
So would you pick Iowa to win in regulation or in overtime?
I mean, just for context, I have no more dog in the fight because that part of my bracket got destroyed because of Florida.
Same
But
with me. I had Florida. I had Florida playing Iowa though.
um,
or excuse me, I had Florida advancing to play to play Nebraska. I meant on that part. So I
I'm looking to
think.
see what I had. I had Florida over Nebraska.
Oh no, I got that whole part wrong. I had
Yeah.
Florida versus Vanderbilt. I
Yeah,
had
so
that
that
whole. I
that's why
I
I
had that
said
whole.
that's why I said that part of the bracket is I have no more dog in that fight, so I could just make a pick at this point. But I might lean with the momentum and take Iowa since Nebraska hasn't been this far in the tournament.
No, they've never been this far. They hadn't won a game
So
before to this.
I'm leaning with Iowa. I think the momentum's in Iowa's corner after beating the top seed and the defending champion from
Yeah.
last year. I think Iowa is the way to go. And I would ride Iowa until they lose, to be honest.
For sure. And by the way, I did not mean to say you can gel. Who I meant to say was Jamarcus Lawrence. He's a very, very talented guard who's hit a couple game winners earlier this year. So it should be a very exciting game though. So
Yeah,
I like Iowa also, and I like Iowa in regulation, probably 75-72
it's going to
or
be
something.
close. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Nebraska's going to run out of gas. I
I
do.
think so too.
All right, moving on. East region, Yukon, Michigan. We started to talk about this.
Not quite. UConn, Michigan
Michigan
State.
State, you know what I meant. But
Yeah.
yes, I think Yukon is obviously the better team in
I
this
I
scenario.
I think I think so too. But what I think is awesome though, it's two legendary coaches. This whole region is just legendary coaches galore, if we're being quite honest, maybe outside of Duke's coach. But I mean to have Dan Hurley against Tom Izzo for a chance to go to the Elite Eight, you couldn't ask for much more than an old school game like this. It should be a really good game, but man, I gotta tell you what, and I'm sure you'd agree, UConn's inside game, I think, is just going to be way too much for Sparty because Sparty's going to have to rely on perimeter shooting. And Nick, I don't know how much of MSU you've watched this year, but man, when this Michigan State team gets complacent and they get cold, they're really cold. So
And what's cool is our new guy, Nate Miller, is a Michigan State guy.
yeah, and he went to Michigan State too. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So his team's got a dog in the fight. Actually, two of our guys, because Ben is a Yukon fan,
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I think Ben will last another round. I'm just going to say that now.
I think so too. I'd say UConn by about 15. What do you think?
Yeah, even though this is what's deceiving about the seedings. I don't think the seedings matter after the first round, to be quite honest.
I don't think so either.
Um, I think this is a mismatch for Michigan State.
I
I
I
think
do I do I do too.
so. I have UConn. There's not really much more I can say about it. I just think Dan Hurley is Dan Hurley, and his guys will be ready to go, whether he yells at them or throws a chair like oh god, what's the name of the coach? Who's the one that
Bobby
used
Knight.
Bobby Knight? Thank you. Whether he throws chairs like Bobby Knight or he's joking around like his own personal self, I don't think it really matters.
I don't think
Um,
so either.
Other side of that bracket, number one Duke, number five St. John's. Duke's not healthy. Two of their starters are out injured. St. John's is riding momentum from the last round, beating Kansas on a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
Um, Rick Pitino's been unbelievable. His press conferences have been hilarious too.
Oh, 100%.
I think, how do you not ride St. John's right now at all?
Yeah, you have a good point. I got to stick to my guns though and stick to my Final Four because it's still alive. I'm taking Duke, but I'm cautiously taking Duke because I think the injuries are going to really, really hurt them. No pun intended, but it actually hurt them in terms of the outcome of the game.
I just think, I mean, like we said, the outcome of that game was
And what and,
unbelievable.
and what I love about this St. John's team, and I'm sure you do too, is they're not getting like crazy flashy media attention. They're not, no one is like overly talking about them or anything like until now, obviously, because people have to talk about them. But like during the season, they were quietly a very good team, and they weren't getting the full respect they deserve. And given that they've already beaten UConn twice, I'm sure that they'd want to see UConn for a chance to go to the Final Four in the Elite Eight East Regional Final on later on this weekend. So
It was weird because people were making comparisons to 2013 when he made what was it, the Elite Eight with Louisville.
yeah,
I don't know why they were comparing this St. John's team to Louisville when he made it in 2013. But I think what's amazing to me is you're right, how quiet the media attention was on St. John's, and Rick Pitino's a big name. Like people
Oh yeah.
forget, and
Oh yeah. And he's taken several teams to the Sweet 16. He's like a very good coach.
maybe that's why he was making the comparison. Maybe that was the last time he made it. Maybe,
Probably, yeah, probably.
but I think this team is a better one than the one he had with
Uh,
Louisville.
I think so too. I
And
think-
I can't remember. First of all, that last, just to go back to that last play of that game against Kansas, that was a defensive breakdown by Kansas on that last play.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
and first of all, offhand, and you don't have guys there defensively for that last play.
unreal.
And I mean, I don't know how good Kansas was because I didn't watch them
So
fully.
so here's the issue with Kansas, okay? And you're going to start learning more about this as the NBA draft rolls around. They relied so much on Darren Peterson, and Darren Peterson was such a head case all year that you wouldn't know what Darren Peterson you were going to get. And to me, it impacted the whole team because he had people around him that were kind of weird. If you do some research, there's been some weird stuff that's going on about Darren Peterson in limited minutes and
Wait,
stuff like that.
is he the one that had the weird injury issues?
Yes, yeah.
Like
Yep.
almost like Kawhi-esque kind
Yeah.
of?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then I know who you're talking about. Like
Yeah.
he
I
would
mean,
play and then
this
yeah.
guy was the poster boy of the whole team, and he just kind of did whatever he wanted. It was really strange.
Well, people were saying like he's going to be like the next big star in the NBA. He has that potential
Yeah.
essentially, but
Yeah.
he would play like the first quarter and then pull himself or first half and then pull himself out of a game.
Yeah, and then people would write like, "What is going on with Darren Peterson's minutes?" Like people were really confused.
But
So,
people are giving him like 1A potential. Is that
oh,
true?
it is real, yeah. But
But he,
given his attitude, I don't know if I fully buy it.
would you say he's going to become the next poster boy for load management in the
I
NBA?
I I think so. Actually, I think that that's perfect because as we discussed a week ago, with the NBA expansion and stuff, I mean that's another controversy. But now you have NBA expansion, you have NBA load management, you also have NBA draft concerns with some of these guys. I think Peterson has a chance to potentially be one of them based on how his draft process goes.
Well, they were saying that if he was at full potential, he'd probably be a number one overall pick.
Right.
But people are saying now that he could drop to like the top of the second round because of
Yeah.
his minutes restriction
Yep.
and all that
Yep.
stuff.
That's exactly it.
I've seen him play. He's an incredible player when he's healthy and he's on court. But
Yes.
but when you don't play, teams are going to be afraid to draft you.
Right. Exactly. And when he has agents and people around him making excuses for him, that's not the greatest look. I mean, I don't know, Nick, if you saw this, but did you see the guy that was sitting behind the bench that was randomly like kind of like working on him as if he was like a trainer when he wasn't really a
Yes.
trainer, and
I
that whole
saw it.
thing that was really, really confusing.
First of all, that should be a violation, no?
No, I agree. I agree.
But you know what the problem is, and this goes back to the NIL argument. No one is going to say anything because these guys get whatever they want because of NIL. So they're never going to say anything.
Well, some, not all, but most do.
I'm
Most
talking about
do.
the guys who are star potential. They get away with more things than they should.
Right.
Okay. Let's quickly get through here.
But we are both taking St. John, and
Yeah.
just to go. Okay.
Well, you said you have Duke in your bracket, right?
Yeah, I'm taking Duke, but you're still taking St. John's though, right?
I had St. John's like authentically in my bracket, moving all the way through the final four.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Number 1, Michigan. Number 4, Alabama. I think this is the end of the road for Alabama. I think.
I think so too. I mean, with all the controversy surrounding our favorite guy with the weed problem, with him not joining his teammates, Alabama, even though they played well, let's be real, they haven't played the greatest competition. Michigan is a juggernaut.
Yeah,
You mean to
I
tell me that Yaxel Landenberg and Adai Mara and Morez Johnson are going to lose to these guys?
no,
No,
they're gonna
no.
eat. I think they're gonna eat them alive. To be quite honest.
I think so too. And Nick, I'm just going to say this. I think Michigan is pissed because 2 weeks ago they went to the United Center and lost the Big Ten championship to Purdue. They don't want to know what it's like to lose at the United Center twice, so they'll win.
Yeah,
Does
I just think this is a better matchup for them. To be
I
quite
I
honest.
I think so too. I think Michigan by whatever it wants, but let's conservatively say and go like 18 to 20 points.
Yeah, Alabama's done. All right, moving on. Iowa State, Tennessee.
It should
In the
be a
mid-
very good game. Two very very good coaches.
yeah, this is a good matchup. Um, I, Tennessee's played good ball.
They have, and they were
Uh,
resilient against Virginia. I don't know.
I think this is their first legitimate competition though in this entire tournament
I think so too.
because they played Miami, Ohio, which obviously had all the media headlines, but they were never going to lose to Miami, Ohio.
Right.
Um, Virginia.
I was the dumb guy that thought Miami of Ohio was going to pull out the upset against Tennessee.
And I was rooting for Miami, Ohio to make a large run, but I just knew it was never going to happen. But
I know.
I actually think that they had even though I had Virginia, Tennessee was always going to be in that game, always. And I think Iowa State's their first legitimate, like, tough game that
Yeah,
they're facing.
I think so too. I think so too.
You were saying that you thought the momentum of Iowa State is large, right? Right
Yeah,
now.
I think so. They've given the Big 12 some of its best games. Houston was a good game when they played them. Kansas was a good game when they played them. The SEC has been a little bit more flat this year. Obviously, now with Florida being out of it, the SEC is sort of kind of leveled out. So this is a perfect opportunity for Iowa State to show that they're the class of the Big 12. And I think they should win this game. I do. I think they should win by at least 10 points, probably, and that would set up a regional final between Iowa State and Michigan, which I think Michigan would just destroy them. But
And by the way, I agree with you. Rick Barnes has had an incredible year and
mhm.
a great tournament, but I just think Iowa State is the better team.
Hey, if Tennessee pulls off the upset, though, Tennessee Michigan could be very interesting. So
Oof,
I don't
that
know.
that would be good. And then obviously quickly we'll go through these. I think the best team in the nation right now, number 1 Arizona versus number 4 Arkansas. Arkansas's had a good tournament so far. Arizona, I think, is just the most dominant team right now in this tournament, though.
I like what Coach Cal's been doing, and I like that Arkansas is quietly beating these teams and doing so in such a way where their stars are really taking over. It seems like Stephen A. Smith has been made a believer out of the Razorbacks. So, and also I'm a little selfish. So, as you guys know from my Bando's breakdowns show, and I try to make it a habit. And I try during college football season to always have a segment on him, but this is technically Brett Bielema's former institution. So if Arkansas wins, we're one step closer to an Arkansas Illinois all Brett Bielema Bowl. Which
You would.
oh,
Would.
absolutely.
But I don't know. I think Arizona is just a dominant team to be reckoned with in this tournament.
This is either going to be an Arizona blowout, or Arkansas is going to beat them by like 4.
There's no in between. It's either going to be very close or it's going to be a big giant blowout.
That's what I think. Yep.
I mean, I have Arizona now. No, just for full disclosure, I have a bet on Arizona winning the whole thing.
What did you put on it?
30 to win 140.
Okay, so you're really excited and you're really hoping that the Wildcats can pull through, don't you?
And just for context, I did this a couple days even before the tournament started. I didn't do this like, oh, bias number 1 seed. No, I did this before the tournament because Arizona has been dominating the headlines as the best team in the nation. So we'll see what happens there. And then last one, Purdue, Texas. Texas has had an incredible run from the play-in to now.
Yep.
I I think they're going to get wiped off the floor by Purdue.
Yeah, I don't see well, let me caution myself and say that although Matt Painter is a good coach, he sometimes loses games he shouldn't. I don't think this is when he loses though. I just think his team is too good. They're too connected. People have been asking him a lot because I've been following his pressers closely. People have been asking him a lot about how connected this team is compared to previous teams, and he's like, "These guys are so easy to coach. I don't really have to do anything with them. They just kind of know what they're supposed to do, and the seniors are carrying them." And I think it goes to show when you play in a week like the Big Ten, where you're playing against the best of the best every night. I mean, shoot, I just said a little bit ago that 6 teams are in the Sweet 16, and Texas had to claw its way into the tournament. It may give Purdue a good game for like maybe the first 13 minutes, but Texas's offense, there's no way unless Trey Kaufman, Wren, or Braden Smith gets hurt or something like that. I don't see how Texas loses or wins in a West region that, quite frankly, I think if you're Arizona, I mean, you just gave Arizona props as well. I think whoever comes out of the Arizona Arkansas game, to be quite honest with you, I think they have a pretty easy path to the Final Four because Purdue has been very beatable this year and in previous tournaments, and I think unless the draw is where it needs to be for Purdue, I don't know if Purdue gets past the next game if they win. So we shall see. I don't know.
It's going to be a good tournament. When we come back next week, we'll be up to the Elite Eight, Final Four.
Well, no, we will have our Final Four decided because the Elite Eight regional final games will end on Sunday. So we will know who's in the Final Four the next time we come back.
So I guess we'll preview the Final Four when we come back next week.
Yep.
I want to talk about a weird media story within March Madness that's around also. So I brought this to your attention because I thought this was kind of ridiculous. So did you know how strict you and I have talked about this before about
Yes, I do know how strict it is. Anything from crediting videos to all that stuff. It's weird. You just got to slap the NCAA on it and just kind of go with it because they own literally everything when it
yeah, but
comes
this
to.
has gotten out of control
No,
now.
no, 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 no. Agreed. I'm just
And
saying there. It's so almost what's the word? Not bureaucratic, but very what would you say? Demanding and controlling by
yeah,
them.
did you see the tweet I shared with you? I forgot which school it was. Um where they basically said that they couldn't share
N-
their own highlights.
Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska. That's right. And I come on, you can't share your own highlights?
Yeah.
It's your own school.
You can only show the rule is you can only show 1 minute of video during the whole tournament for 1 minute of video per team for the whole tournament.
Well, so I have the rules here. So it says NCAA tournament media rules strictly protect broadcasting rights, limiting non-rights holders to using only provided video feeds for highlights. Social media usage is restricted to 2 minutes of daily highlights with individual clips capped at 30 seconds. Live streaming is prohibited, and teams must pay a $5,000 fee for enhanced but still limited social media posting rights. What the hell is this shit?
I know, given how much attention March Madness gets on social media, you would think the NCAA would want as much social attention as possible, no? Right?
And by the way, because they say here the NCAA and its partners, which is CBS and Turner and all that stuff, own all the video rights. Only they can record games. Other media must use official, provided, or non-altered video feeds. So here's my problem.
That's correct. That's what I never unless I'm doing like a scrum where it's a local media scrum, I have to use what the NCAA gives me whenever I post stuff.
Okay, so here's my problem with that. Okay, why are they not going after everybody on Twitter who is posting videos of the games and all this stuff if that's the rule?
I don't know.
Is it just so bad that they can't stop every single thing that people put out?
I don't know. That's a good question.
But it also says participating schools and media must limit tournament highlights on social media to a total of 2 minutes per day. Individual clips cannot exceed 30 seconds. So you can't go on your own team's social media and post a dunk or a long highlight or all this stuff without getting in trouble with the NCAA?
Yeah, that's kind of messed up, isn't it?
But during the season, you could do whatever you want.
Right.
What's the difference between the season and the tournament?
I have no idea. It's a good question.
I understand it's on a more national stage. I understand there's media partners, but shouldn't there be a loophole if your team is in the tournament that you can post stuff for your own team?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just. It also says media must use the official provided feed. Okay, this is what you were talking about.
Yep.
Via a mult box. I don't know what that is. For highlights, usually found in the media interview room or near the production truck. Teams cannot post in-game highlights to their official accounts without adhering to these strict limits. I mean, what is this? This goes back to the NCAA being corrupt
I don't know.
because they want to control everything. They want to control the teams. They want to control the market of the teams. And you can't post your own highlights. What? How do you get your local crowd to be excited to watch your games?
Because they probably assume that the local crowd follows them enough anyway to know we know when all the games are.
I understand that, but this goes back to the whole issue of when you're like everyone says, "Oh, national stage, national stage," like, we're being seen by more eyeballs, but then you can't share on your own team's social media platforms because, oh, well, we're CBS and we're Warner Bros. Discovery, and we should be allowed, and we control everything you do.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it is strange. And yes, unfortunately, you do have to use the provided feeds. And it sucks because a lot of those beat reporters travel with the teams and they film all the press conferences during the regular season. And then once the postseason hits, it's like you can't, I don't know. It almost sucks for people in my position because it feels to some like they probably can't adequately do their jobs.
I don't know if you saw this the other day. I think or last week. There was a news network, local news. I forgot where.
Okay.
Because the local news networks can't even use the highlights. That's
No,
how strict they are.
no, they can't.
So, like, some of them were like
They
taking
can't even show highlights on a competing local network while the tournament is going on.
correct
That's
now.
how restricted it is.
Now, I saw ESPN and Sports Center were allowed to show the highlights. Now,
Yeah,
that might have to do with because they have deals with all the college basketball conferences. I don't know, but
probably, but I don't know that for sure myself.
but I
So
saw that they were airing full highlights like on First Take and on
yeah, yeah,
Sports
yeah,
Center. But like some local news networks were like joking around because of the dumb rule. They put one of those Nerf baskets on the
yeah.
wall and they took a ball and like pretended to like repeat a highlight that they saw in a game. But doesn't that show you how ridiculous it is that you can't like because of all these dumb rules that you can't show stuff?
I know.
I I don't know. Media rules have become such a ridiculous thing.
Yeah,
I
but it is true though. As someone who's covered the NCAA tournament several times and is going to do so later this week, you have to use all the official feeds as officially as possible, and you have to credit the NCAA every single time you post something.
so ridiculous. All right. Let's move on. Some NFL stuff. This broke the day we're recording this. Jackson Smith and Jigba reached an agreement with the Seahawks on a 4-year, $186.6 million contract extension, making him the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. This is a no-brainer to me.
Good for him. Ohio State legend just won the Super Bowl and wants to be the face of the franchise, and it's clear Seattle believes in him. It's awesome.
Yeah. And what was the numbers I saw? Oh, here it is. 119 receptions, 1,793 yards.
Guy's a beast, man. He's really good. He's really good.
The guy
He's
is
really
unbelievable. I mean, Seattle lost their running back to Kansas City, which I still think was stupid. But I mean, you had to sign this guy. This was he basically was blank check territory.
100%. This guy was a beast, absolute beast.
And now, like with Sam Darnold signed under contract and now having his number one weapon, I mean, they're going to need to figure out the running back situation. But I think having these two back together is just going to put them on another playoff trajectory run.
Yes, correct. Yep,
So,
100%. And it just goes to show that how a lot of people say that the NFL is a quarterback's league now, and now while that may be true, when you have starts at the wide receiver position, it changes the whole complexion because now you got to prepare for everything. You can't just prepare for one guy. You got to prepare for multiple stars on both sides of the ball. And that's exactly what Seattle is preparing to do. And it shows that he had such a big season a year ago with all those catches in the playoffs and breaking Justin Jefferson's, I think it was his single season receptions record, if I'm
yes.
not mistaken.
Yep.
I mean, it's clear that they're putting a lot of time and investment into him. And man, Nick, I don't know if this further solidifies it, but if Ohio State University isn't wide receiver you or the Ohio State University rather, I don't know what is. Because
by the way,
he's awesome. And then once Jeremiah Smith declares, oh my God.
I mean, by the way, JSN is 24 years old. By the way,
2 years younger than me.
He's 24 years old. He's the richest wide receiver in NFL history. Well, highest paid wide receiver in NFL history.
Good for him, though. He deserves the bag.
Oh no, he deserves it. He's great. And remember, they had to basically give up on DK Metcalf to allow this guy to take the spotlight, and I think it was well deserved.
And he might end up being better than DK Metcalf if he stays on this trajectory.
Oh, I think he's gonna be way better than DK Metcalf. I think JSN has more range than Metcalf ever had. I think he has better hands than DK had. I just think the range is way better.
Nick, I think I'm going to be honest with you too. I think you're going to be seeing a lot more NFC West championships and a lot more NFC championship appearances over the next 5 years for these guys because they're going to be really good.
I mean, offensive player of the year. I mean, if he goes on and has more seasons, I could see him being an MVP as a wide receiver.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even though that rarely happens in today's NFL, but if he's going to have close to 1,800 total yard seasons, then we're going to have that discussion. All right, moving on. I'm ready to yell about this story.
All right.
Because, Cam Skattebo came out over the last week and was on a podcast called Bring the Juice, which I've never heard of until now. Apparently, it's a guy who does stuff on Fox Sports Radio. And he said CTE and asthma are fake. And I swear to you, Zain, I almost lost my mind on this.
Well, I would have too, man. It's not a good look.
And of course, and just for context, because I don't want it to sound like I didn't have it, but I have the tweet that he put out after the news broke. But we could talk about the comments. So he goes on this podcast with a guy named Frank Delina, and basically he asked Cam about the degenerative brain disease linked to repeated hits to the head that has affected plenty of football players. And he said, "You think CTE is a real thing?" And he responded and said, "No," while shaking his head and said, "It's an excuse," quote unquote. The conversation veered into another health topic, followed by stating he believes asthma, which is a chronic lung disease that can make breathing difficult, is also, quote, an excuse too. So I started to yell about this the other day. I'll let you have floor first because there's plenty I have to say about this.
Sure. I mean, you're more passionate about this than me, but his comments certainly were not smart. It's a bad look to the guys who are no longer with us, who eventually had to have their brains examined to where they had early signs of CTE or Alzheimer's and stuff. So to completely discount it is just stupid, because scientifically his statements are totally false. And there's literal brain studies, that are done about this. And asthma being fake is just downright stupid. You talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people have asthma. And so, first off, his comments are way off base. He was trying to prop himself up, make himself look like he's a tough guy, which, trust me, he's a bruising running back. He was a great player at Arizona State. I'm not taking anything away from him, but you just can't say those things and expect people to still take you seriously. It's really as simple as that. You can have an opinion, non-publicly, off of podcast sectors and stuff, but you can't go out on a massive platform and just say things that are just factually just untrue. And and I think it's a bad look. And I think, if you're a Giants fan and you look at Skattebo differently, after him saying this, I don't fully I don't I don't I don't fully or I fully understand where those people would be coming from. So, it's a bad look. Hopefully he learns from it. He did say he apologized. I don't know how genuine his apology actually is, but it's uh it's one of those things where you just need to do better. You're a professional athlete. You're representing, a lot of different, people, wearing a lot of hats, and a lot of people look up to this guy. And it's just not the greatest look. We have to do better as a society, to know that when we're in a position of power, we have to do things in a way that not only satisfies the audience, but also gives the audience the most accurate information. And he certainly was unable to do that, and then some. So I thought that it was a terrible look. Hopefully he learns from it, and hopefully he can worry about now being 100% for a team that's in complete rebuild mode. So
But here's what I don't get. So he's said some pretty dumb things in the past. Okay. He's done some pretty dumb things in the past. Getting involved with Neon in his videos on Kick and saying some pretty ridiculous things. His agent calling him during the video and saying, "Don't going on the videos," basically telling his agent to screw off while he's on a stream with Neon. Going to WWE on an injured, what was it, an injured leg, I think, and basically sitting front row section. And basically what ended up happening was they scripted him into a WWE event, which I was against. People were telling me I'm overreacting. I still don't care if people are telling me I'm overreacting. He
I
could have.
don't think you. I don't think you were. He could have, and I get it. The WWE is meant to be scripted, but you can still get seriously hurt if something goes wrong.
So didn't love that. Then this happens, and I don't care. Here's the thing: I don't care if he was joking or not.
You
Okay,
just can't say that stuff. You you,
because
you can't do it.
it's a sensitive subject for the NFL talking about CTE. Put asthma aside for a second. I'll address that in a minute. But CTE is like the unwritten rule that you don't talk about in the NFL.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's something that they don't want publicly associated with their league, because they know how much it hurts their bottom line. That's
Well,
all.
I didn't mean it from that standpoint, but what I'm saying is, like,
Mm,
you don't mention it and joke
right, right.
about CTE.
Exactly. Yep.
And I'll read his apology in a second, but this guy has a reputation of saying dumb things and then having to come out and apologize for it afterwards because he realizes the dumb shit that he says. Now, did he apologize because he apologized? Or did the Giants? Or did someone else say to him, "Hey, you can't say this stuff and you need to say something"?
My argument is probably his publicist probably told him that he can't say that.
You think that publicist of his has been working overtime lately?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel bad for that PR person who he pays or
Yeah, and Nick, think about this. Think about his closest friends who he's known since high school and grammar school and all that. Guys that he hasn't spoken to in maybe 10 years that see that. and they're like, shoot, I used to be friends with that guy. Like, think about those people too. Like, it affects more people than just him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, I said this on Gurus over last week. I'm going to say it here again. And it's going to be harsh, and people are going to write nasty, ridiculous things in our comments. I really don't care. The Giants should
Okay.
cut him. The Giants should cut him.
Really? Okay.
The Giants should
Okay.
cut him. It's inappropriate behavior. I understand that people saying to me, "Oh, the WWE thing, it's just like it's a petty child fight that was scripted, whatever." You don't joke about CTE. We've seen players die from well, we didn't know it was CTE until, like you said, they did the research
Right.
after they passed away. But Callan made a good point to me. Like, look at Junior Seau.
Yeah,
Okay,
that one's really tragic. The Justin Strelzik one was really tragic, and so was Mike Webster. They were all three extremely tragic passings.
but this kid has no resemblance of caring about anybody. Like, he cares
But
about
him,
but
but him.
himself. He cares about views. He cares about going on viral streams. I don't think he even cares about football, to be quite honest. I think that
Well, if he's saying stuff like that, it seems pretty apparent. No,
right. And they go on to talk about, oh no, that's a good take. Skattebo said, yes, asthma's fake too. Dude, do some research.
yeah, like what?
You're gonna tell you're gonna say to me that CTE and asthma are not real?
Hey, and not to make this about COVID, but it's almost like he's pulling one of those COVID cards where people loved to spread misinformation during that whole period too. You know what I mean?
He strikes me as someone who would say, like, oh, fake news, COVID doesn't exist.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, and then for Delina, the host, the pair drove the point home further with Delina mocking those with asthma, asking if there's anything worse than fourth graders who are, quote, huffing and puffing. Come on, dude. What the hell is your problem?
Yeah. It would be the same thing like if he went on and like criticized people that like, had disabilities or like other physical challenges and stuff. Like it's all kind of under the same umbrella. There's just things you don't say. There's just things you don't say and you don't do, man.
And then, just for context, here's the tweet, the damage control tweet. This is not the first time that he's had to put out a damage control tweet. And he says, I recently did an interview and had a lapse in judgment. I hate when people start a statement like that. You didn't have a lapse in judgment. You said it, right? You said it, which
Hmm.
resulted in me making a tasteless joke about CT and asthma. Tasteless joke. So now you're calling it a joke?
Yeah, it's a terrible look.
It was never my intention to downplay the seriousness of head injuries or asthma. I
So
sincerely apologize to anyone that was offended by my remarks, and I assure you that I'll be more mindful and respectful going forward. And the way he ends every tweet, much love. Screw you. Much love for what? You're you're playing it off as a tasteless joke? That's what you call CT and asthma? A tasteless joke?
yeah, that's terrible. You can't say that.
Giants. And I don't care. And we have Giants fans on this network. So I'm going to get bombarded again when I make this comment. The Giants should cut Cam Skattebo right now.
Which to counter you, I don't think they're gonna do that, but I think your points are well taken. So
And I hope every Giants fan gets in our comment section and says you're overreacting. Let me ask you something to everybody who's going to watch this, okay? If you had someone with a disability in your family or someone who has a mental health situation and someone came up to you and started making a tasteless joke about disability or mental health, would you react the same way I'm reacting or would you play it off like Cam Skattebo did?
I can guarantee you that people would react the same way you are.
So go ahead, make the comments in our comments section because That just makes you look like tasteless human beings if you think that what Cam Skattebo did was funny or a joke. Okay? End of story. All right. Quickly, this one just made me laugh. Logan Paul apologizes to Tom Brady? Question mark.
Yeah,
Did you see the video or no?
I did. I did. It was
It,
awkward.
well, I think he was starting it off and then he was just doing the typical Logan Paul situation here where he's just like, whatever. Tom Brady kind of egged this on partially during the game.
Hmm.
I don't know how much I watched like 10 or 15 seconds of the highlights of what was it, the Fanatics flag football game, which I think they put way more attention on this than it deserved.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest and say I didn't watch any of the highlights of it at all.
Well, I said I spent like 10 or 15 seconds. That's it. And I think Tom Brady purposely has been egging on Logan Paul the entire time. Um, but I don't know. Logan's a WWE guy, so this is perfect for him. So he can basically act like a tough guy. What did you make of, though, the whole thing about Logan saying like he's an athlete and Tom Brady basically saying you could never take down an NFL player? What do you make of that stuff?
Yeah, it's just stuff you don't say. I mean, I get it. Logan's a famous star now with everything he's done, and I'm just gonna say this too. I think he sometimes forgets that he wrestled in college, so he should know of anyone who an athlete really is and who an athlete really isn't. And to kind of downplay one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, is a little bit disrespectful and a slap to the face, given that they're of similar famous statures in their own little sectors. Since famous people who know each other and are cordial should not be taking shots at one another that they're going to see at the same places all the time. It's as simple. It's as simple as that. They cannot like each other. That's a totally different discussion. But to go out publicly and to say the things that he did and to have to backtrack is a terrible look. Terrible look.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is this is dumb. And I also think Tom Brady plays down how hard it is to be an athlete in the WWE
I think
also,
so. I think so too.
but it is what it is. All right, quickly, I wanted to talk about this too. John Jones reveals $15 million
Oh,
was thrown.
wait a minute, Nick. We never we didn't do our due diligence. We didn't play the pen video that's going crazy.
We'll do it in a separate video because we don't have time to do it now.
It's all
But
right.
we'll do it in a separate video because I want to get to it. But John Jones reveals $15 million was thrown around for Alex Pereira fight. Dana White denies the talks. Quote, no way in hell. I saw the press conference. I think Dana's getting pissed off at the amount of times he's being asked this
I think
question.
so too. I think he wants to. I wrote about it yesterday for SI. I think he genuinely wants to be done talking about it.
But at the same time, like, would he have brought the attention to the White House card? Of course, there would have been eyeballs. At the
Yes,
same time, though, I think John Jones is the boy who cried wolf. Also,
I could see that. I think the main reason why he didn't fight on this card was because he didn't pass a background check. That's what I.
a
That's what
physical background check, you mean? For being physically able, or are you talking about criminal background check?
criminal background check.
See, I disagree with you partially because how many times have we seen criminals in sports get as athletes get past?
I know, but
Thing?
we're talking about competing at the White House, though.
Oh, well, okay, but at the same time, the UFC gets what it wants. Always, we know that.
That's true, but that's just my theory. I have
I
no.
think he was just not physically able to compete. I think.
Yeah, that could probably be true because the arthritis thing ended up being true. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm for some reason like you're telling me that there's sources actually confirming this $15 million story,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
but
yeah.
I just don't buy it fully because wasn't the offers originally for 30 million to fight?
That was for the Aspinall fight, not the
Right.
Pereira fight.
No, I get it, but I'm saying I don't know if I buy that he would take a 50% pay cut to fight. Do you buy that fully?
I do, because if you go back a year, he said he would fight at the White House no matter what the number was.
Oh, right. You
So
are
now
right.
he now
Yeah.
he now he's going back on his word. So I
I
don't know.
I don't know what to believe at this point.
I don't think
Um,
anybody knows what to believe, because I've told you this for weeks. I think one side is lying.
yeah, of course, one side has to be lying because the other side wants to make the other side look bad. But I don't know. To be honest, I think John Jones is retirement at this point.
Oh, he is. I think they have him effectively retired as of like a year ago. So
Now, I think that was inappropriate by Dana White at the time when he was asked, like, what the thought is of Dana White, basically saying that he's effectively retired. I think that's an inappropriate comment from Dana.
how so? He vacated the belt a year ago and he hasn't fought.
No, no,
So
but I'm saying it's inappropriate for him to say that he's retired and never going to fight. I don't think that's his right to say whether he's retired or never going to fight.
because he's still under contract.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably not a good look, right?
right. I'm saying that I think that's an inappropriate comment because then if you're admitting that he's retired, then pay him. Pay
Yeah,
him. If and I,
pay him to go away, right?
right, and I don't like John Jones. Let me be very clear about that. But if you're saying he's retired and never going to fight again, and he's under contract, pay him to go away. If that's the case, or buy out, whatever you got to do to make it work. They're still trying to figure out the Connor contract too, at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, they are.
So
Which,
now,
which my thought, which my thought is, if I were to make an educated guess, they'll get the Connor contract done before they ever worry about Jones. That's what I think.
agreed. But I'm just saying the same thing. Like when the whole pay per view thing went out the window, then they had to redo Connor's contract
Yep.
all over again because of the whole pay per view points BS. But
Right.
like the I just thought that was inappropriate by Dana White to come out and say, hey, he's retired, he's never going to fight again. Well, you're basically, I don't, in all intents and purposes, destroying his reputation, even though
Yeah.
John Jones has already done that himself.
Right.
But, but
Jones has yet to respond to Dana's new comments, but I'm sure that in a few days, at a random time at 3 in the morning, he's going to go on a crazy tirade again.
oh, I see those like all the time, and it's very,
He's
it's
probably gonna go. He's probably gonna go on Instagram Live too for 30 seconds, and It's gonna be really awkward.
well, I saw that weird video of him laying in bed. I forgot what that was. He was responding to, I think, the original thing that Dana said,
Yeah, yeah,
but
correct.
I'm just, oh my God, he's been,
Which he later deleted, by the way.
yeah, I'm looking at his Twitter account. Like he's out, like just quote tweeting and responding to people like crazy. I
he,
don't know if that's,
he hasn't responded to me yet, right?
no, but I'm just saying, like, I see him constantly. Like people are replying to him and then he's replying to them.
Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable.
Here's the tweet though: was ready, willing, and physically able to step in. I was willing to take substantially less than the Aspinall ask, but they wouldn't budge $1 over 15 million. I felt like our fight was worth more.
Meaning our fight, meaning him and Pereira.
Yes.
That's what he means. Yeah.
Even though the condition that Jones is in, I think Pereira might have wiped the floor of John Jones.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that. Tom's told me for 2 years that he thinks Pereira could beat Jones. He's told me that for 2 years.
I still think Pereira would beat the crap out of Jones because he hasn't fought what a legitimate fight in how long now?
Well, you got to go all the way back to like 2023. So it's been a while, because he beat Stipe, but Stipe was really old. So you got to go back to March of 2023.
So that wasn't even a real fight, to be quite honest.
The Stipe fight, no, it was a shell of his former self, who he beat.
So what would you argue his last legitimate fight was then?
2023 against Cyril Gane when he won the heavyweight title.
Okay, so we're talking about almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing how these guys like John Jones and Conor McGregor are coming out and being mouthpieces, but they haven't fought in years. And the UFC wonders why they have a problem.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The McGregor thing I still can't fully figure out, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But
Yeah.
if there's any indication, he's not fighting anytime soon.
No. And then finally, I know we're a little over time, but I want to get to this last topic you put here. MLB preseason one bowl prediction, because the day that this comes out is MLB opening day on Netflix. Giants, Yankees at the Giants.
Yep.
I'm not happy about this, even though I have Netflix. This is the first time in years that the
Okay.
Yankee game will not be locally on opening day.
That's disappointing. So the only way you can follow it locally is on the radio, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
But
my bold prediction, first off, is I think that Craig Counsell is going to be in the running for manager of the year, and I think the Cubs win one playoff game. That's what I think.
uh, the Yankees didn't change much. I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't know how
The,
far they'll go.
the Yankees, you mean?
Yankees, yeah.
So
Um,
your bold prediction is at the very least they're a playoff team. Do you have anything else to add to that?
um, I hate to say this, but I think the Dodgers are going to repeat, unfortunately, just because of the $1 billion plus that they spent in the offseason. They got better, and I didn't even think that was possible, by the way, with all the signings that they made. But unfortunately, and Callan, our Padres fan here, might be a little frustrated. And I am too. I I think people are just going to be mad because it's going to be Dodger talk for the entire season. The
For
other
sure.
bold, the other bold prediction is that we
Oh
are going to.
wait, you're cheating. You were only supposed to name one.
I know, but I'm no, but I'm saying I think the Yankees will somehow make the playoffs. But I'm saying that I just think the Dodgers are going to repeat. I just think that's unfortunately what's going to
Okay.
happen.
So that is your bold predictions that the Dodgers are going to go back to back.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're going to go back to back. And then I think if you want a second bold prediction, just for the sake of it, we're going to get a lockout on December 1st when the deal is up.
Okay.
Um, because so let's put it this way: enjoy baseball for this season, because I don't think you're going to see baseball for the 26-27 season.
Oh, perfect cap to end this segment. Are we going to get finally for the first time ever an ETBS in-person reunion when the Yankees play the Cubs in August?
That's my goal. I hope so.
Okay.
I plan on. I've been to Wrigley. I love going to. I had the chance to go to Wrigley years ago when the Mets were in town.
It's awesome.
Even though I was a little spooked out as a kid because people were outside the stadium holding up weird signs, doing weird things when I went years ago. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's just the area where the stadium is. But I had a really good time inside of Wrigley. That's one of the cooler places to hang out, by the way. Um, Watching the Ivy, watching the confines inside. Um, by the way, the concessions are cheap
Yeah, they
inside of
are.
inside of Wrigley compared to Yankee Stadium.
They really are. You're right.
Now,
You're correct.
I'm assuming that's probably changed since I went a long time
Yes,
ago.
yes, it's changed, but now it's a lot more accessible. You can order within the ballpark app and everything's right there. And yeah, it's awesome. Then there's a DraftKings sports book right next to Wrigley Field that's like interconnected to it. So people go there all the time. And they've really changed it. Wrigleyville has become like a district of like just really good restaurants, really good bars. And not to make you feel old, but it's a lot of people my age who if they're so whenever I go see my friends, we all have a good time.
You know what?
So
I have to see if I can convince Tom to go with me.
that'd be
Maybe.
that'd be amazing because then I could finally meet my first ever co-host that I ever had. Yeah.
So I have to, because him and I are both. He's in Staten Island, and I'm here in Long Island. So that would make the most sense for us to go down. I've been to Chicago. I haven't seen like the major parts of Chicago, but
No, I'll take you. I'll take you everywhere. It'll be a good day. If you come, we'll try to make it the best Chicago experience we can.
the weird part is we weren't able to stay close to the stadium
Okay.
because I think I forgot where we stayed, but like we had to take an Uber to get to because it wasn't close. I guess all the hotels were filled out when we went, but we had a good time. I got to eat deep dish when I was down there for the first time. Also,
That's
Uh,
awesome. Yeah, it's my favorite.
I would say that I would. I mean, I'm in New York, so I'm going to be biased to New York pizza, but I wouldn't say it was bad. It was actually really. It was because it's more like a casserole style pizza deep dish,
It
right?
is. It is.
It's like it's not as much of a crust as it is on like New York style
Correct.
pizza, which
Yep.
I love like a harder crust, but I'm never against trying foods as long as I'm not allergic to them, because I have food allergies. But anyway, um, I am looking forward to that. But unfortunately, and we're way over time, so I'm just finished with this. I'm not happy that the Yankees are on Netflix. I have Netflix. That's not the issue. It's am I really going to turn on Netflix to watch an opening day game where I can't watch anything else that I'm watching? No.
It's a good point. Very good point. And I think that's a great place to cap it. This was a very fun episode 310 that will go down in the books as one of the more entertaining in recent memory, for
Yeah,
sure.
a lot of yelling. I can already tell you what I think the teaser of this episode is going to be.
Well,
Uh,
I already pulled it. So
so you'll hear that at the beginning of the episode. But make sure you follow us on social media at ETB Sports for this podcast, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at ETB Sports. Follow everything we're doing across the Empty the Bench network at ETB Network across all our social media platforms. Make sure to like and subscribe, youtube.com/ETB Network. Check out everything we're doing, whether it's Empty the Bench, whether it's Bando's Breakdowns, whether it's a bunch of our other live shows that we do across the week that's not recorded content.
Zanzinger Part 2 would be
Yeah.
included in that.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
a bunch of other stuff we're working on along the way. So make sure you go check that out. Any last words before we end this long episode?
I don't think so. Just a shameless plug. Tune into episode 83. All Midwest regional stuff and other March Madness stuff. A preview UFC Seattle. I'll probably react to the video that we teased that we were going to talk about earlier that we didn't get to, and a bunch of other stuff. So if you want a Friday afternoon show, please be sure to tune in midday episode 83 as usual, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, and I will see you guys there. And speaking of this show, this is a fun show, and it's going to keep rolling here as we continue to get more and more into the spring. It should be really exciting with the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs right around the corner, alongside baseball, some combat sports as well. It should be a fun spring, and looking forward to more of these, and looking forward to episode 311 already. So it should be good.
Yeah, as we get closer to spring in the summer months, sports slows down a little bit, but that doesn't slow down the show. Um, we're working on some commentaries to add to the show also to give it a little more, some hockey ads, some FIFA World Cup ads as well. So be on the lookout for those. And yeah, that'll do it for episode 310. So he's Zain Bando. I'm Nick Morgasen. We will see you next week for episode 311, where we will react to the final four, because that's where we will be, and we will get you ready for the national championship as well. This tournament has gone fast.
Yeah, this tournament's gone very fast, and hopefully we get some intriguing Final Four matchups. But until next week, we'll see you guys then, and cheers, everyone. Thanks.
See you around. We'll see you next week.